Taking, just be. Don't take it. Taking, just don't be. And live my life. Don't take it personal. I ain't lying. I ain't hiding. I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. Hey. Taking just don't be and live my life. Don't take it personal. We just building. It's my season. Lay foundation. Make a name for generations. Please and make a then take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away. Hey, hey. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning or look like you always be working, soaking the moments you live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. I'm in a place serene and pure and free. Hey, I ain't worried about what's the wave, only worry about
Lights off, transparency on. Late night marriage with the riches. Late night marriage with the riches. You need that real talk, this is what you want. Lights off, transparency on. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to Late Night Marriage with the Riches. I am Damon Rich.
I'm Tamika Rich.
And it is Lights Off, Transparency on here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're so glad to have you in the building with us. Go ahead, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Late Night Marriage is in the building. We are super excited, but I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be a rant episode. It's gonna be a rant episode. We're gonna talk tonight about delusional women, irresponsible men, and grown folks. Delusional women, irresponsible men, and grown folk.
Yeah, you want to stick around. So.
Yeah, stick around for this because I'm a.
It sounds good and interesting.
It does and is.
Oh, thank you.
So it's. I saw 3 videos that kind of put me on this tonight. So this is a buckle up moment. This is a buckle up moment. I saw 3 videos while I was traveling today. Just got back off the road. It's been a long day, but I saw 3 videos that just chapped my hide, crunk my tractor,
tickled your fancy.
They ain't tickle my fancy. It just pissed me off. It's just dumb stuff. It's just dumb stuff. And I want to talk about several things that's kind of out there. So let me tell you about the videos. let me tell you about the videos, and I want to know your thoughts. Drop them in the comments. Be happy to. I want to know your thoughts. I need to hear from you. So, the first video was what it is. It's a show. They do it tonight's conversation, and this group of men and women on stage, and they talking and they answering relationship questions, this and that. I don't know how many of them are married or not married. Sometimes they give some pretty good advice. Love the differing perspectives. But there's this lady, she stood up and she talked about how she's kind of back with her boyfriend that she's been on again, off again for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing that just crunked my contracted. I'm off again, on again with the same dude for 4 years.
Right.
The song "You Got Me Going in Circles" comes to mind. You got me going in circles, around and round.
I go.
I think that, doggone it, it might be even the Heather Headley song "In My Mind." Maybe you think you are his lady, and maybe when he move on, then you decide I'm gonna come back. I don't know, but it's some pure nonsense.
Right.
When I watch this. So anyway, so she said with her on again, off again boyfriend, she asked him for $50. And he was like, oh, he gave it to her, but he like, don't get used to this. Now I don't know if he said that jokingly, if he said that for real, but she was like, they basically started chastising her because basically she was doing it as a test. She was testing him. And one of the dudes rightly called her out and said, you didn't, like, the girl said it like, I don't care what his financial situation is, what he might be going through, this and that. I just want to see if he got it or got me or whatever. And they like, oh, how are you testing someone?
Right.
When you're asking someone you believe can give you something that you don't have, because you asking him for the $50. He ain't asking you for the $50. You asking him for the $50. But you testing him, but then at the same time, you don't even care. It might be his last $50, but he's willing to give it to you. But you're sitting here in this on again, off again relationship trying to test him. He said, and I like what the way the guy put it, I think they call him Trip. He put it like this. He said, the best way to know if somebody got you is to put them in positions to know if they got you, not as a test or whatever, but if you're in, or if they're going to be there for you, put them into positions where they can be there for you.
Right.
And so that is so important, because at the end of the day, it's like, hey, let it be real, be considerate. But instead, you out here playing these games, and while I'm on that, I was watching a video the other day. This wasn't even one of the videos from the day. The girl called up her and her boyfriend. She was accusing him that he was trying to run around on her. One of her road girls had told her this, that, and the third, that they had got down, had sex, whatever. And he said, I'm telling you, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. So they called the girl on three-way, and basically she believed her road girl over her man. And basically the girl told him, no, I just lied to you because I figure if you was trying to test him like that, you didn't deserve him nowhere. And I would love to have a man like that or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So now you done messed up with a good man because you wanted to play games. This other chick was not playing games with you. Like, oh, you want to put a good man, everything you tell me about this dude is good. And then you want to play these little games and put them through. See, sometimes when you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Right. But this was the same friend though that had told her that he was messing with her.
The friend came back and told her, like, I think it looked like what she did is she put the friend up to trying to like holler at him to test him. And then the friend came back and like, yeah, we went all the way, this and that.
Oh,
and he like, nah, I ain't do none of that. But the girl like, if you gonna play these kind of games, everything you done told me about this guy that he's a good guy.
Okay, so she told her to do it.
Yeah, she told her to do it. So now you done lost out. Now you wanna, oh, I'm sorry, I'm this and this and that. Then you turn around. So getting back to the other girl, they rolled out on her. Why are you off again, on again with this man? You don't even care nothing about him. You don't know if that's his last $50. All you can be critical about is him telling you don't get used to this.
Mhm.
And guess what? If he was my son, that's what I would be telling him to tell your behind too. You don't give a girlfriend wife privileges. You don't give a boyfriend husband privileges.
Mhm.
There are some demonstrations of things that you can do. And I'm saying that from a mature place now. There's things you did for me while we were dating that you
Mhm.
should not have done for me
For
while we were
sure.
dating. Like, there's certain things you showed that gave me
Mhm.
to understand I'm capable, but hey, until I make the right investment in you,
Mhm.
the right commitment to you, you ain't have no business doing that consistently. If you
Yeah.
want to do it every now and again out the kindness of your heart, but
Mhm.
it shouldn't have not be an expectation because you wasn't my wife,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Sometimes we do too much too soon or up
Yeah,
front. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's definitely a lesson or learning that I think a lot of women need to know, like, what's the balance? What's good? Where do I draw the line or where do I stop?
yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that's the thing that I kind of look at is like, so that the delusion of like, oh, I'm off again, on again with this guy. Why you keep coming back to him?
Mhm.
It must be something good about him, or at least you feel it's something good about him, or y'all got some toxic doggone addiction to each other. But why you keep coming back to this dude?
Right.
Right. And then you want to play these little silly games. That's just absolutely crazy to me.
Mhm.
So second video I watched was a lady who got a divorce. And she like, I got a divorce and got shocked or surprised or whatever. And her whole thing, she's getting this divorce. Her
Mhm.
husband used to be a real estate guy. And so she thought she's finna get a divorce and get a paycheck. Oh, child support, alimony, all this and that. And when she went through the courses, she ended up getting like $320 a month for 2 kids, which I will
Oh.
agree and say that's low.
Yeah.
But some of that has to be where we don't have the context. Some of that has to be on her side, where
Mhm.
she probably makes more money than him because she did say because he doesn't make as much money as he could. So she just riding out on him on this video.
Mhm.
But at the same time, hold on, wait a doggone minute. Wait a doggone minute. You thought that you was gonna get a divorce and make a come up. They need to seriously change the divorce laws in this country
Mhm.
because marriage should not be a windfall. It should not be like, oh, I'm gonna go in here and slip on this grape in the store and I'm gonna get this lawsuit and get this huge payoff. Marriage should
Right.
not be a windfall when it doesn't work. There should be some level of accountability for both partners
Mhm.
that makes it, one, it needs to be more difficult to probably get into marriage, but two,
Right.
100%, it need to be when you get out of it, there needs to be penalties all the way around.
Mhm.
Everybody need to feel the pain of it.
Right.
Because it's the death
And
of
a lot of
someone.
times, probably a case by case basis.
It's a case by
Yeah.
case. There's some underlying mitigating circumstances sometimes.
Mhm.
I agree.
Mhm.
But I'm sitting here and I'm like, you thought that you was finna get all this money. So clearly it's almost like this was a lick for you. I don't know why they was getting a divorce. She didn't say why they was getting a divorce, but she
Right.
was just totally shocked that she wasn't gonna get all that she thought she was gonna get.
Mhm.
So that pissed me off. So then the third video that pissed me off is a lady's like, my soon to be ex-husband just drove up in this new $100,000 truck, pickup truck, and he's a grown man, and this and that, and financially he can't this and this. Like, you upset, and apparently him wanting to get a new truck was a spot of contention within their marriage.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, and she could have had legitimate reasons, like we can't afford that,
Right.
right? You putting us in debt, whatever. So she could have legitimate reasons, but her response to this,
Mhm.
all of the reasons that people want to get a divorce,
Mhm.
is just absolutely asinine to me.
Mhm.
And then on top of all of that, I saw a comical one. I'm gonna close it on the comical note. Is a lady, she's like, it is just like is a satire video. And the woman like, I want a divorce. I can't do this no more. I'm out of here. And the husband like, uh-huh. And and he's like, okay, babe, what food do you want? She's like, are you listening to me? I want a divorce. I hear you. I hear you. But what meal? Well, you know what I like to eat when I go to all our favorite places. And I say, but what's your most favorite place? Oh, this is my favorite place. And so he tells inside, and you like to usually get to this. And so she, by the end of it, he done got her whole order, and she's like, "Oh, okay, then. All right, you gonna go get it?" He like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get it." Like, "Oh, okay, okay, then we're good." And the caption of the video was, "My wife's hormones almost made us get a divorce." So him recognizing in the satire video
right.
that she was just having a moment, he
Right.
like, let me just get her through this moment, right? And the reason I close with that video is because sometimes great relationships end up going sideways because the people involved don't assess the moment.
Right.
And they make a permanent decision.
Right. For a moment.
For a moment.
True. True.
They don't assess the moment. And I guess at the heart of all of this, I want to ask you all out there that are watching, what relationships, I want to even step outside of your romantic, intimate, committed relationships. I'm talking about friendships, and I'm talking about jobs and all that. What relationships that were profitable for you did you potentially throw away because you didn't manage the moment? You didn't manage the moment.
I think that's a good question. Very good question.
And the reason I wanted to title tonight's episode Delusional Women, Irresponsible Men, and Grown Folk is, first, if you couldn't tell from the videos, we got these women. There are a lot of women out here that are really deep into fairy tale land about
and
superficial stuff about what to expect in a relationship. And because they are on this superficial stuff that does not matter, they are potentially throwing away or playing over very good men. Right?
My question for that, a lot of times when you look at it, like, how did they get there? You know? Because we live in a generation where regardless you have to be raised or around somebody or environment. And I know for us, a lot of times we were in an environment, did we have some fantasies and some things true, you know, and stuff as women? A lot of times that's just who we are. Emotional stuff, but like, how did it get this bad or go this far?
Yeah.
If you will.
Here's the thing that, and I like that. Here's the thing I have a question for ladies. Does the man in your mind really exist in real life? Period. Have you seen anybody that has that man? Forget if you can get it. Have you seen anyone that has the man that you think is the perfect man?
Right. I think a lot of times, because we live in a society where you see bites and pieces and moments. So a lot of times, you know, where the relationship goals and all of the different sayings and stuff come in, it's like, oh yeah, well they must be, or that couple, or you know, because you're just looking from the outside in one, and you are seeing what they want you to see a lot of times. And so then you're so shocked if something happens, and you'd be like, no, you know,
and
about the relationship or the couple, because you just like, no, that's just, you know, the best couple, or they have the best relationship, or they're this and that. And then your mind starts to churn and go, oh, I want that. Or they look so happy, or they look so good, you know.
And I'm going to start out here, and then I'm going to bring it in. A lot of people, to the point you just made, they look at the relationship goals, and they're setting goals off of celebrity marriages. What they're not understanding is that for a lot of those marriages that are on celebrity status, they make things appear a certain way because their marriage is not a real marriage. It is a product. It is a brand. It didn't start out as a brand. It may have started in legitimate, sincere love and infatuation, but it continues to be what it is because it is a brand. And now us being together is bringing us a lot together. And so we need to keep us together. It's a brand. And so they're managing their relationships from a brand perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the people
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, right? Where it's not a brand, so let's come closer
Mm-hmm.
into your people you may admire in your community. There may be people who admire our marriage, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't. Now, we don't put our marriage out there as a brand. We are a brand as far as Marriage Refresh. We teach from our marriage, but we teach from our shortcomings. We're very transparent in a lot of that stuff. But
Right.
here's the thing that's really, really important about it. You may admire our marriage,
Mm-hmm.
but unless you sit down and talk to us, you don't know what it takes to have our marriage. So
Yeah.
you're infatuated and want what you see publicly
Mm-hmm.
without knowing the work it takes to behind the scenes privately,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like going to the gym. Man, I see some guys, boy, those dudes ripped. They're like, man, I don't gonna be quite that ripped, but I like my arms to kind of stand out a little bit. My chest a little bit toned,
Right.
lose a little bit of this belly. But am I gonna put in the work that those guys put in?
Exactly.
I can want that all I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I ain't gonna put in the work that they put in, if I don't sit down and say, man, what's your diet? What's your routine? What's your lifting schedule? What's your cardio schedule? If I don't put all that in,
Mm-hmm.
what vitamins do you take? Then I'm not gonna get anywhere near those results.
Right.
Right? How much time do you spend in the gym?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get those results.
And I think a lot of times, and I can just speak for me, and kind of how we got here, thinking back, is the thing of seeing real marriage or being in the house. Of course, I grew up with a single mom, but but my godparents were married. So houses or people that you knew, that you saw real marriages and relationships, and then a lot of it turned you off because it wasn't the fairy tale or what you thought in your mind or what you assumed or what you wanted.
Yeah.
And so then you start to build up, oh, I want this and not that.
Yeah.
And so instead of like really asking questions and engaging and understanding relationship, a lot of times now we did come up in a era where you didn't get to ask too many questions.
Yeah.
You just kind of saw what you saw,
Yeah.
and then you took your own assumptions from there.
Yeah.
But if you were able to go back and be taught or get some questions answered, I think we'd probably be in a better state. So it's sort of like the trickle down effect, because then we get to us and we go, oh, I don't want any of that because I saw that. But not knowing that was what real marriage was, real problems, real issues. There are no, fairy tales and all of the things that you come up with in your mind of what you think it should be like or you want it to be like. And definitely without doing the work. Because here's the thing, if you do want it a certain way, you can work on it if both of you agree and you put that out there. But then you also want to make sure it's not just all superficial or shallow stuff. And understanding the depth of marriage and relationship and just people in general.
I agree with that. I think that what's super important. Gotta do so. All right, there we go. I do think that what's super important in all of that is that you do have to dig deeper. Do you want marriage, or do you just want a wedding? Right. And when I say a wedding, I ain't even just talking about the special day, but you want all the emotion that comes with the wedding, and you want to ride on that cloud forever. If that's what you're after, without even knowing it, let me tell you the truth. The reality is waiting to slap you.
And I think people want marriage, but they want their idea of marriage and not what marriage really is.
Yes.
So that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be married, but only this idea of what I have of marriage. And it's not like that.
I can agree with you 100% on that.
So because they say it all the time. Yes, I want to be married, and I want to be married, and yes, I desire to be married. And you go, why? And then they look at you and go, why are you asking me?
Be that,
Why do I want to be married?
Why? Why? Do you know what you're getting ready to get into?
Right. And I think, and then I just been, thinking about this and talking a little bit because a lot of people start off or people ask or talk or the questions that they want to ask for the married people is about sex. And I think a lot of times they want to start there.
It's
And that conversation, not that it's not very important, but um marriage is so, it's such work and it's such what's the word I'm looking for? It's so important or this big thing that I think sex should actually be moved back here somewhere for us to talk about. We'll get to it, but let me talk about something more important than that.
if sex is in your, I'm gonna go the same way that I talk to people about their career. I
Mhm.
tell people in their career development, if
Mhm.
money is in your top 5 things
Right.
for why you want to move from job A to job B,
Mhm.
and hear me when I say this, if you're making $10 an hour
Right.
and you got to support yourself, and you can go jump over this job and make $15-$20 an hour, I get it. Money absolutely is going to be a major factor there because you're in survival mode.
Mhm.
So I get it. But when we're talking about you're beyond
Mhm.
survival mode,
Mhm.
you're just like, oh, I'm now making 80,000 a year, but I want to make 6 figures or whatever. You need to know what comes with that, because I tell
Mhm.
people all the time about um like from a career perspective. I'm gonna bring this back full circle to relationship.
Right.
Once you start making north of $40,000-$50,000 a year,
Mhm.
the expectations for you
Mhm.
at that job they're largely warped.
Right.
What you're getting paid and what's expected out of you is so out of balance.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's the reality. The same is kind of true with relationships. If sex is in your top 5
Mhm.
reasons for why you want to be with that person, you need to pump your brakes.
Mhm.
Because the thing about sex, I can remember back in our younger days, earlier in our marriage, and you would tell me about couples that were a little older, and they're like, oh, they have sex maybe once a week. Once a week?
Right.
Once
Or
a
either
week?
once a month or
Yeah,
something like
once a
that. Yeah.
month. What the? And now, 20 years later,
Right.
I'm like, it's times I want it more than once a week, but it's times when once a week good.
Right.
I'm good. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm good, because you have so much going on. Your body has changed. Your age
Right.
has changed. Um, a lot of that has to do with health and
Right.
where you're at in the health factor. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of different factors that come into that.
Exactly. Because when you hear, I want to know what the sex is going to be like in 30 years. Limp and dry.
Bless your heart. Yeah.
Limp and dry.
Limp and dry.
And that's what you want to say. But just like, okay, let me expound. Let me really explain to you and talk to you about why. But it's like you have this expectation or this thing because you haven't been there, but you don't actually take the time to sit down and talk with the people that have to give you real true information
Yeah.
about, because you want it to sound just like I said earlier, you want the marriage to be the marriage that you have in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when people give you truth, I'll say
Mm-hmm.
truth, and meat or some substance, you go, nah, I don't want that. You keep that. Let me go to the next person, or let me go to the next couple to see if the answer ever gets better. Till you either get to somebody who lies or embellishes or not tell
Yeah.
you the full truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've uncovered the delusional women.
Mm-hmm.
Lest I get called out. You ain't said nothing about the men. Irresponsible men.
Yeah.
Listen, dudes. Y'all got to stop thinking with your second head and choosing the wrong women. There are signs that this chick is not good for you. But she can turn a couple extra chicks in the bedroom. She maybe is giving you more wife attention
Mm-hmm.
than you deserve as a boyfriend. And now you are making decisions based off of the wrong reasons.
Right.
That is the responsibility, because there's a saying, women do not choose, women are chosen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women don't like that. They don't like it. Here's why that's said. In general, men do the proposing. So that means they have to choose. Does she have to say yes? Absolutely.
All right.
But if he never asks, she can't never answer. Men do the choosing. And women are in the position where, yeah, they have to accept or deny, but it's men. So, brothers, at the end of the day, it's really on us to choose wiser, right? Godly, what? It's a song. Oh my goodness.
It's about he love a good song.
Oh, I love a good song. It's about an outcast, and it's oh my goodness. I got to find it's on AT Aliens. Let me see. It ain't Babylon. Nope, it ain't Elevators. Let me see. Nope. The song is called Millennium. And let me see. Let me see.
So we're talking
I
about.
I understand.
This still about irresponsible men.
It's still about irresponsible men. I think this is the song. Oh, hold on. No, it ain't. It's Jazzy Bell. Hold on. It's Jazzy Bell. Yeah, Jazzy Bell. I think it's
like Jezebel.
Oh yes, I love her like Egyptian. Want a description, my royal highness. So many pluses when I busted, there can't be no minus. Went from yelling crickets and crows, bees and hoes to queen things. Over the years, I've been on my toes, and yes, I've seen things. Let me see. Let me see. When they can let them thunder, inviting brothers into the temple they call the body. Not everybody got it, had it, talked about it amongst a friend coming around. My crew looking jazzy, want to pretend like you miss Goody Four Shoes, but even Bo knew you got poked. And like acupuncture patients, while a nation is a boat straight sinking. I hate thinking that these the future mamas of our children. They having sex with a different brother every time they get the feeling to. I'm willing to go the extra kilometer just to see my senorita get her pillow on the side of my bed where no girl ever stayed. House and Doctor was the games we used to play, but now it's real Jazzy Bell. So he talks about, in the song, he's talking about as a man,
right,
choosing wisely. As a man, choosing wisely the woman that gets to lay on the other side of your bed. That is a responsibility as a man. What is it? As much as we can look at women and say, why you keep choosing these bad men? No, I want to go back the other way. Why you keep choosing these delusional women? Because there are a lot of women who are great women, and you bypass the woman that's got some sense for a delusional chick because she got an extra bundle and some eyelashes, and you want to play with her. But she gonna end up playing you. What is it? That's irresponsible, brothers. I've had some deep conversation with people. They'll say, well, what if women, and I think this was Chirac or whatever, the whole premise is to stop the violence, the women was going to close their leg and men, we not going to give y'all no sex and still y'all stop all this violence. A woman closing her legs ain't going to stop men from doing whatever men do. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple of reasons. Reason number one, it's going to always be at least one woman willing to cross the strike line.
Yeah.
So they going to have at least one woman and probably a group of them that's going to be willing to cross the strike line and give them what they want. And then you're going to be left out, holding out, whatever. Cool. The other reason why is because if you deprive men of sex in that way, they going to start taking it. Women would not be safe. I know nobody wants to say that, but women would not be safe. They're going to start taking it. The violence would stop being against men, and the violence would start being against women to get what men want.
Right.
Right?
And we already see that.
Yeah.
You know.
So you got to understand when we're talking about this whole sex thing, and we're talking about us as brothers, we got to be responsible in the women that we're laying down. And might I just say this? Brothers, we have got to stop talking about we don't want women with a high body count while we're simultaneously creating women with high body counts. Yes, that is some of their responsibility, but as men, as leaders,
Right. For sure.
you can't complain about a problem that you created. You throwing bodies on her. You can't, you what happens? We've got to get to a place in society where we stop teaching. I just saw something about a politician, I think in North Carolina, and he made some comment about why he's against abortion, because the abortion shouldn't be an out because you couldn't keep your skirt down. Hold on. How about if we're going to go that route, how about abortion shouldn't be necessary if he could keep his zipper up?
Exactly.
Why do we keep putting it on the women?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is the responsibility, and I ain't saying, because I've been young and I had some chicks, when you want to sleep with them, oh, you must be scared. Then that tap into my pride, right? And then I fall into the trap. I get it. I 100% get it. But we got to be more responsible as men.
Right.
So.
And definitely teach the same thing on both sides. And that's like a catch up, because that's been so uneven or so imbalanced for so long. Yeah. It's
unbalanced. The responsibility has been placed on the shoulder of women when the responsibility was meant to be placed on the
both.
shoulder of men.
Men
first.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times you have to definitely still be accountable for yourself.
Oh yeah.
So
most
self
definitely.
and personal accountability is a big thing that a lot of people don't like or miss.
Yeah, most definitely.
We like the blame game.
Yeah, most definitely that. So here's the third thing. So I said delusional women, irresponsible men, and grown folk. Marriage is for grown folk. Marriage is for grown folk. Just want you to know that. You need to be grown if you want to be in marriage. Marriage is not tricks, it's for kids, silly rabbit. Yeah, marriage is not for kids. Marriage is for grown folks.
Yep.
And now I want to go around to...
Because it definitely is not for the faint at heart.
It's not for the faint at heart. And we don't say that in that marriage is this terrible thing, because a lot of people are like, oh, the way y'all talk about marriage just scared me. No, if you do marriage right, it's a beautiful thing. If you do marriage wrong, it will crucify you. It will crucify you. Right. Here's the thing that I want.
Even doing it right, it's taxing.
It can have its challenges when you're doing it right. But the thing is not the marriage that's the challenge in those moments. It's just getting through the life circumstances. And a lot of times it's easier to get through the life circumstances when you're on the same page with each other. Right. Here's the thing that I want to say for marriages for grown folks. And this is where I want to get down to the church. And me and you were just talking about this, I think a little bit today even. Do not go get married because you don't want to sin.
Oh, yeah.
Stop sinning.
Yeah.
But don't go get married to stop sinning. Y'all have heard me say love is a horrible reason to get married. Avoiding sin is the second most horrible reason to go and get married.
Right. Because that goes back to taking it lightly.
Yeah.
Or entering into it lightly.
Yeah. No. Because what's going to happen if you go into marriage trying to avoid sin, you're going to end up committing sin in the marriage when the marriage gets hard. And that ain't even got to be just cheating.
Right.
There's so many
so many
different
different
sins
things,
you
yeah.
can commit against each other within marriage. But if it's not, do not go jump into marriage because you're trying to avoid sin. That just don't do it. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do not do it. It ain't worth it.
Right.
It is not worth it. If you're gonna do this thing, go and really sit down and understand what marriage is,
Mm-hmm.
so you
For
can
sure.
decide if you're willing to pay that sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Yeah.
But don't just go in it to avoid sin.
Mm-hmm. If you're close to it or not close to it, and I think when you're close to it, a lot of times, definitely being a student or learning or gathering as much information as you can to go is, you know,
Yeah.
this what I want to do now.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Not to
It's
say that you shouldn't get married or you don't want to get married, but just having all the information. So
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know your microphone over there.
Over here.
That's why I be telling you to bring it all over here. Yeah. But you really do have to understand that when you walk into marriage is how do I want to put this? When you walk into marriage prepares you to serve God in a different way. I'm not saying if you're single you can't. It's a different type of preparation,
Mhm.
because marriage is perhaps the most sacrificial relationship you will ever enter into in your life.
Mhm.
It is the most sacrificial relationship. You may think it's the kids, but here's the thing about kids. Our children will always be our children, but there's a point where our children reach age and they go to live their own life.
Mhm.
So let's just say you got married, you had kids at the end of year one. That means you're 19 years in by the time the first kid hits 18 and decides they want to leave the nest.
Mhm.
You're 19 years into your marriage. Yeah, you're going to still be parents. That's going to still be your child.
Right.
But now the child is not a priority as much because they're off living their life.
Mhm.
And that marriage is still sitting there.
Right.
So when I say it's the most sacrificial relationship, because it is a sacrifice that continues and supposed to continue
Mhm.
until you die.
Right. For
Right.
sure. And sometimes just learning how to navigate all of those different seasons
Yeah.
is a challenge.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's one of those situations, like, for example, silly things that people might take into marriage, and the old school women can talk about this a little more, but women were taught to have a haul ass account.
Mhm.
That's like, if things go wrong, always have you some money tucked to the side. Well, in order to have that money tucked to the side so that he don't know about it, means you got to keep secrets. If you're keeping secrets of any type in your marriage, you
Mhm.
already got a problem.
Mhm.
You keeping secrets in your relationship and you're looking to get married, you already have a problem. If you
Mhm.
do not have transparency and vulnerability, you already have a problem.
Right.
And marriage is not going to magically fix that. If you're dating with the intent of getting married and you have things that you're already hiding, marriage is not going to automatically fix that. It's not going to fix it. So I just want y'all to understand, irresponsible men, stop enabling
Mhm.
these delusional women, and all of y'all grow up and start recognizing that committed relationships and marriages are for grown folks. They're not for people who want to play dress up.
Mhm.
They for
Yeah.
grown folks. So we want y'all to keep all that in mind. We want y'all to remember that there is, to me, and me and my brother talk about this,
Mhm.
And is one day we were just talking, and it's a feeling that I've held for a long time, for years. But one day he just brought it out, and I was like, bro, you right. And we were just talking about it. To us, especially if you didn't grow up with your biological, or you didn't grow up seeing marriage or whatever, there is no greater blessing that God can bestow on a man than to be a husband and a father. I'll stand 10 toes down on that.
Right.
One of the, next to the precious blood of the Lamb, the second greatest gift that God can bestow on me as a man is to be a husband and a father. I didn't always recognize that. Me and my brother was talking about it. It's like it's no greater feeling than to get up and go and sacrifice for your family, or to do the things to make sure your family's okay. And there's also no greater stress when you're trying to make things happen for your family and you're going to do it. But I think that if more men looked at it that way, you be careful what you call a blessing. You be more selective in what you pick up.
And I think if more women appreciated it more,
yeah,
it would make a difference.
It would make a huge difference. That is the greatest thing. But what I've learned as a husband is, I'm gonna say it again real slow, so people can pick up on the words. There's no greater blessing that God has bestowed upon a man than to be a husband and a father. The days you want to quit, you remember who gave the blessing, and then you go back to scripture. The blessings of the Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow. So if there's sorrow showing up in this thing that is a blessing, then I need to understand why. Why is sorrow showing up? And what can I do to make sure that I am in a proper position for God to return it to the blessing he intended it to be?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So listen, that's all we got for you tonight. As always, it's Late Night Marriage with the Riches. It is lights off, transparency on. And we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Good night, and we love you for real.
Yes.
Good night.